Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Before we get started on today's topic, which is, well, pretty challenging stuff, just a quick word about the support that helps make all this possible. This Deep Dive is brought to you by ProCare Hanoi. They're the phone and laptop repair shop that the expat community really trusts. You know, if you've ever dropped your phone or had your laptop just decide to quit on you, you know that feeling, right? That immediate panic. Well, ProCare offers really fast service. They're super clear in their communication and, importantly, give honest advice. Exactly what you need when, your tech lets you down. They're the folks you can actually count on. And speaking of support, this show really is a labor of love. We spend a lot of time with these sources trying to pull out the key insights for you. And if you find value in what we do, I'd honestly be so grateful for your support. Buy me a coffee is just a really simple way to chip in, say thanks, and believe me, every single one helps keep things going. You can just scan the QR code right there in the podcast cover art. And a massive thank you to everyone who's already supported us.
Seriously, you're the fuel for this whole project. Okay, so today, we are diving deep into, arguably one of the toughest mental skills maybe, just noticing things. Without immediately slapping a judgment on them. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Like, why wouldn't we be able to see something? But as the sources we looked at show, it's way more complicated than that.
It really is. It's like the core challenge in so many contemplative practices. Our minds, they're basically wired to label everything instantly. Safe, danger, good, bad, right, wrong. It happens in a split second. It's this classification system we have. Kind of an evolutionary thing, really, for quick assessment, survival.
Right. So the mission for us today in this deep dive is to explore how mindfulness practice invites us to consciously pause that system, to interrupt that super fast default labeling mechanism.
Okay.
We're trying to find that clarity, the kind that comes from seeing things just as they are.
Yeah, raw, untainted, not seeing them through the filter of what we want them to be or what we're afraid they are.
So finding that space, as you said, between the thing happening and our reaction to it.
Exactly. It's about cultivating observation instead of that instant, emotionally loaded reaction. That little gap, that space is everything.
Okay, so let's really dig into this habit of automatic judgment first. Because it's not just like judging big world events, it's the constant internal chatter, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. That judgment engine, it's running pretty much nonstop, often completely separate from anything happening outside us. You're judging the room temperature, maybe the feel of your shirt, how fast the car next to you is going, that little ache in your shoulder.
Yeah, think about just waking up. The sources gave some great examples, like the instant you open your eyes, it starts, ugh, didn't sleep well, this day's gonna be rough. Or this coffee, it's too weak. Or maybe, I look really tired today.
Or you glance at your phone, see a comment online, and boom, that person is completely wrong.
And we don't even call it judgment, do we? We just think we're having factual thoughts, objective observations.
And that's the tricky part, because they are evaluations, fundamentally, not neutral data points. And this is where the cost comes in. It's important to say judgment itself isn't inherently evil or bad. It's a mechanism. But constantly running that evaluation program, it's just profoundly exhausting.
That's a really key word, exhausting. But why though? Structurally, why is just labeling something good or bad so tiring for the brain?
Well, because judgment throws us into this cycle of reactivity. Instead of just observing and understanding, we're instantly reacting. Think about it. When we label an internal feeling like anxiety or maybe a sad memory as bad or something I don't want, you automatically start resisting it.
Okay, so you're pushing against what's actually happening in that moment.
Exactly. You're fighting the reality of the moment.
And that fight, that resistance,
that
must create tension, right?
Yeah.
Physically, too.
That's exactly what the sources talk about. They call it tightening. We sort of clench mentally and physically around the experience we've labeled unpleasant.
Tightening. I like that. It's very descriptive. So it's not just a mental thing, this tightening.
No, the sources are really clear on the mind-body link here. When you label something as unwanted or bad, your nervous system often reacts. Think about how anxiety feels in the body. Your breathing gets shallow, right? Maybe your jaw clenches or your fists, or you get that knot in your stomach.
Yeah.
That's real biological energy being spent fighting off a temporary internal event, like a thought or a feeling.
Wow. Okay, so that really raises the stakes. It's not just mental noise, it's actually draining our physical energy.
Yeah.
Because we feel this constant need to classify everything. So the invitation for mindfulness isn't about becoming passive or uncaring. It's about practicing active observation without triggering that whole stress response that comes from the label.
Precisely. It's asking, can you just witness it? The thought, the feeling, the sensation, without immediately deciding, I hate this, I must destroy it. When you drop the label, you often drop the fight that goes with it.
And that leads to clarity. When we stop fighting it, we can actually see it clearly for the first time without the fog of our reaction.
Exactly. And that clear seeing, that's the starting point for wisdom, really. You can't figure out how to deal with something if you don't understand it first. And you can't understand it while you're busy wrestling with it.
Which brings us nicely to the how. If this judgment habit is so deeply ingrained, how do we actually train ourselves to pause, to notice, to maybe let go of that tightness?
Right, the practical side. How do we practice?
Yes, let's get into the technique.
Yeah.
The sources offered a really lovely, simple visualization exercise for this.
Yeah, this is often called something like the watch the mind practice, and it's quite straightforward. If you feel comfortable doing it, you can close your eyes or maybe just soften your gaze, let your eyes rest, and then just take a slow breath, kind of settle in for a moment. The core idea is to imagine you're sitting peacefully beside a calm river.
Okay.
And every single thing that floats through your awareness, a thought, a plan, a worry, a random memory, an image, visualize each one as a leaf floating down that river.
And the really crucial part here, the sources stress, is about non-engagement.
Absolutely key. We're not supposed to interact with the leaves. You don't jump in the river to chase after a particular leaf to analyze it.
Or try to stop one, pull it out, change its color.
None of that. You just notice. There's a thought, like seeing a leaf float by. Then you just let it continue on its way downstream. It takes a kind of stillness, but it's a stillness of attention, not necessarily a silent mind.
But, the mind being the mind, it doesn't always stay with gentle little leaves, does it? Sometimes those thoughts feel more like huge, heavy logs that just snag your attention completely.
Oh, absolutely. That happens to everyone. A big worry, a regret, a really strong urge, it hooks you.
Yeah, it pulls you right off the riverbank and into the current with it.
Exactly. So we need a strategy for when that happens, for those big leaves or logs.
So what's the response then? When you get hooked like that, it feels weird to just let a big worry drift away.
The response has to be gentle, super gentle, no self-criticism allowed. First, just notice, I got carried away. Then you label the activity itself, not the content, not the story. Just label it internally simply as thinking.
Just thinking, not worrying about the meeting or regretting what I said.
Nope, just thinking. Keep it simple, impersonal, and then very consciously, very patiently, you guide your attention back to your breath perhaps, back to sitting by the river.
Wait, hold on. So the point isn't that you failed because you got distracted. The actual practice, the muscle we're building, is in the noticing and the gentle returning.
That's it. Right. That is the crucial insight. So often people think they're bad at meditation because their mind wanders.
Yeah.
But the goal isn't some impossible state of a perfectly silent mind. The goal is the gentle return. Every time you notice you've wandered off into judgment or worry and you gently guide yourself back without beating yourself up, that is the practice succeeding.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. It's about training a kind mind, not necessarily a silent one.
Precisely. Kind and aware.
And that kindness, that shift from judging to just noticing, apparently has some really profound effects, right? Beyond just feeling a bit calmer.
It really does. This is where we start seeing transformation. The sources brought up that connection to deeper spiritual wisdom, like that beautiful quote from Thich Nhat Hanh.
Oh yeah, the one about awareness.
Awareness is like the sun. When it shines on things, they are transformed.
I love that analogy. The sun doesn't judge what it shines on, it just illuminates it, makes it visible.
Exactly. So when you shine that non-judgmental awareness on, say, a difficult emotion like anger or sadness, you're not trying to destroy it, you're just seeing it clearly.
And when you swap that automatic criticism for just understanding, this is anger arising, everything kind of softens.
It does. That tightening we talked about starts to release because you're not fueling the fire with resistance anymore. You're not fighting it.
And this isn't just like a nice feeling. There's actual science behind this softening, this reduction in internal conflict.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This has solid scientific backing. It's not just feel-good philosophy.
That's important. What does the science actually show?
Well, numerous studies show that practicing non-judgmental awareness directly impacts our physiological stress response. It helps regulate what's called the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal system.
Okay.
Which basically means it helps manage the release of cortisol, the main stress hormone. If you stop constantly labeling difficult moments as threats or bad things, Your body's internal alarm system doesn't have to fire off quite so often or so intensely.
So if you often feel stressed, it might not just be the external situation, but also this internal habit of constantly judging your experience of the situation as wrong or bad.
That's a huge part of it, the practical result. When you stop the constant commentary, this is good, this is bad, I shouldn't be feeling this moment isn't right, life just feels lighter, more open.
Like giving yourself permission to just be where you are.
Exactly, instead of constantly fighting the present.
And this internal shift, this inner peace, it connects outwards too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The sources mentioned that Vietnamese insight,
Ah, yes. Tham bin, to yi bin.
which means
Roughly, when the heart is at peace, the world is at peace. It's such a profound connection.
it really is.
It suggests that the path to, broader peace and stability doesn't necessarily start with trying to fix everything out there first. It starts with changing how we relate to our own inner world, moment by moment.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful, really grounding. So to boil it down for you, the listener, maybe just one simple thing to try today. The next time you catch yourself in that moment of judgment, maybe judging yourself or a situation or another person, just pause.
Yeah, just pause. Maybe take that deeper breath we talked about.
Notice the thought. You could even label it gently, internally, judging or just thinking.
And then, consciously, kindly, see if you can just let it go. Like that leaf floating down the river, don't push it away forcefully, just release your grip on it.
That simple act, repeated, that kind of awareness,
Yeah.
that's really the foundation, isn't it?
It's the foundation of mindfulness, yeah. It's how we learn to live more gently with ourselves and by extension with others too. It's freedom from that constant reactivity.
Okay, so as you go about your day, carrying this idea with you, here's maybe one final thought to chew on, something that builds on this theme. If changing how we see an internal thought transforms its power over us, what happens when we apply that same quality of non-judgmental awareness, that pure observation, to the actual words and expressions of someone we're talking to?
Interesting.
How might non-judgmental listening change the whole dynamic of communication?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Really powerful.
Indeed. Well, until our next deep dive, may your awareness be gentle and may your heart be at ease.